Here we go on our test review, and the first page is already filled in, so here you go and hit pause. Basically, I don't know any other way to show you this rather than to just give you the points and make sure you pay attention to the axis they're asking you to flip on and what they're asking you to do as far as translating up and down or to the right, whatnot. So here's what the new figure's coordinates should be, and you might just redraw them over on the coordinate plane so you kind of see what's happening. Okay, hit pause. And now whenever you have started this back up, I will point out a few things. You can see here that we've just listed the points that are over here on the coordinate plane. I hope that you will note right here you have a repeat of an x value. So we did not write it twice here in our domain value. And that also told us the answer is no, it is not a function. Anytime the x value repeats, anytime any x value repeats, then it is not a function. And then we just listed all of the y's in the range. Alright, you might want to get ready to hit pause. And here we go to numbers 9 and 10. Hopefully you have these written down, and you can see, we did these in class for most periods, but we just look for the x. What is the smallest x value? Well, here it's 1, 2, negative. And the biggest x value, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The x is in between those two values. This right-hand side was solid dot, so we have less than equal to. The left-hand side is an open circle, so we had just less than. Same thing applies for the y. Look for the smallest y and the largest y. Remember, going up from the origin, those are positive numbers. The x is negative here on this open circle end. The ray is written just a little bit differently. We have a starting point and it keeps going on forever. So I think it's a good idea to check out where you're starting and think about what happens to the x as you walk this way, walk down that line. Well, our x's are getting bigger if we're moving this direction. So x is greater than or equal to negative 3. There's a negative 3 as the x value at that starting point. Y is the same thing. Imagine the y's as you walk this line. The y's are decreasing. They're getting smaller going down the y-axis. So y is less than or equal to 5. Again, we used the less than or equal to sign because we have a solid dot. If it was an open circle, we would just use less than. Get ready to hit pause. Okay. Now is where you should pause it. And I'll let you puzzle this out. The domain starts at 0. It's a solid dot, so we have less than or equal to x. The open circle is at 9 on the x values, so we use just the less than because it's an open circle. Same goes for the y values. On our ray, number 12, we have it starting at 9 and the x value, and the x's are getting smaller as we go up to the left. Our y's would be starting down here at negative 4, but our y's are getting bigger. It's an open circle, so that's why we use just greater than or less than. Get ready to hit pause again. Hit pause. And hopefully you've worked all these out by now. I'll make a few points again. We are finding the ranges of each function. So in other words, we're finding the y values. Okay, the way we show that with function notation is f at some particular x. The function at some particular x, then we plug it in where it belongs. So f of x is equal to 4 times x. Well, this is f at 3. That's telling me that x is equal to 3. So I plug that in, and I get the answer, 15. And do that for all 3 of the domain points, 0 and 3. Work the equation 2 more times, and get a 3 and a negative 9. Same goes down here. I'm given a function. It tells me to square the x and then subtract 2. So I did the first one here, plugged in 2, got my 2 for the y value, plugged in -1, got a -1, then I plugged in a -4, and I got a +14. Down here it's telling me, hey, we're using the f of x function, so I would identify which equation to use. It's this one. Then it says evaluate that for -3. 2 minus 3 times a -3. A -3 times a -3 make a +9. So we're really adding. And that makes it 11. Alright, get ready to pause again. Okay, hit pause and copy these down. And we just continued with number 16. It says, hey, let's use the g function and stick in a -2. Well, here's the g function. That gave us -2 squared plus 6. -2 times -2 is a +4. Plus 6 makes 10. Then this thing is saying, hey, take the function g equals, or g at 3, and then subtract the function f at 2. So you would just solve each one of these. G at 3, that produced a 15. F at 2 produced a -4. So I'm saying 15 minus a -4. Two negatives together like that produces a positive. So it's a +19. And that is what your test is going to be.